an unbelievable time.
One of the best times I remember, well, it's funny now, but we used to leave from the downtown motor ring and on a bus trip, and we left at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I always sat in the back of the bus. Players had the ball boys sit in the back of the bus. And I was back there with Joe Blake. And anybody that knows the day Jimi Hendrix died, and Joe Blake, all the way to wherever we went, Bridgeport, wherever, was singing Jimi Hendrix song. And he said, this is a day you'll never forget, Jimi Hendrix. And I mean, Joe was one of a kind. It was, the bus trips were unbelievable. But the main story that I want to tell you guys is, I was 9th grade, Pottstown High School, played football. I would go to school, play football, come home, grab a bite to eat, and go to the Firebirds. Same thing over and over. And if you guys pay attention, there's something missing in there, and that's schoolwork. Schoolwork was not being done. So I got my report card, and I had 2 D's. Right? And my dad went to he was the head equipment guy, and said, John won't be able to practice he won't be able to come to practice because of his grades. So I didn't come to practice and for a week, and the next week I showed up, and 4 players came to me, said, we don't want you being a ball boy if you can't get your grades up. And kind of stuck with me. All right. Now, one of the players, believe it or not, was King. King came up, college is important, said, you got to get your grades up.
And Reverend Butler, all those great fire and brimstone talks he would give us. And then later on, after my career was over, coming back to Pottstown to visit the Hunter family. And Mike Hunter and I became such good friends. And we would go over to Second Baptist Church and I would attend some of the ceremonies. All that experience, it changed my life. And it got me in, because of Mr. Hunter, it got me into a lot of civil rights stuff. And that's why I became a school psychologist, which I did for 32 years in the schools, and was fighting for civil rights that whole time. And it had to do with the influence and the experience I had here. So I want to say Pottstown and players and people, thanks a lot, because you helped change my life.
We had a game in 69 to 70 on our championship roll. Pete Retzlaff, Eagles, came down. He was head of the taxi squad, the active taxi squad at the Eagles. And he had like 7 or 8 ball players with him. Brought him down to play at the field. Dave just plain turned around and said, no way, they're not good enough. They're not as good as what I got here. Now, we were talking about Wade Key, who went to the Eagles. We're talking about Mike Evans, the center that went. Bob Tucker, Giants. I came through very fortunate to meet a lot of great ball players. Mark, how can you leave here and go become top defensive in the Canadian League? It says a lot about the structure. The true heroes here are you, the supporters. I really appreciate it 40 years later. I'm proud, and I only ask one thing as I hand the mic back. That everybody in this room personally shake my hand, and I want to be introduced to you. By way of saying thank you.
We're here at Grigg Memorial Stadium, the former site of the Pottstown Firebirds, one of the premier players, linebacker Mark Cosmo. Mark, 40 years later, man, this is unbelievable.
40 years later, and meeting all the guys who I have trouble remembering, and the fans are the ones that really pull it back and make you feel that sense of pride, regardless of what division, what league. When you come to see fans that come out to see you after 40 years, it's such a tribute to the players who basically sold out, did whatever they could.
And you know, the first time you walked into this field now for quite a long time, what was the first reaction you had? I mean, do you remember a game or a play or a player?
I remember a play that John had brought to my attention where a kickoff return was being brought down. The guy was carrying the ball loosely. I took it right out of his hands and ran for a touchdown the other way, and probably one of the greatest plays I've ever made.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, you know, for the people that don't realize, Mark Ded went up to Canada and played very successfully up there, won a bunch of Grey Cups.
Yeah,
actually coached up there then too. I understand.
Coached a little bit.
And you're still up there. What was that like? How'd you get adjusted to Canadian football?
Well, you know what? It's a different game. Outside linebacker, you see a lot of traffic coming your way before you can move. They're allowed to come forward at you, and you can't cross the line. So you get used to that. But the transition was an easy one for me because it's a lot of hitting. I used my helmet to inflict a little bit of pain, but I think I'm feeling it more than anybody now. So, but it was great. It was great here. It was great up there. But from the minute I left here, I went up to Canada and been there ever since, as a matter of fact.
Well, Mark Cosmos, certainly one of the better players ever to come out of this Pottstown Firebirds program. Was a heck of a player, heck of a hitter, and we're just happy to have you all back. And thanks for taking time to come all the way down from Canada to join us.
Listen, for me, it's really such an honor for me to be here and see what you guys have gone through to make this a perfect day for us. And I got to thank everybody here.
Okay, Mark Cosmos, former linebacker for the Pottstown Firebirds.
No more picking up the glass off the sideline.
Empty beer bottle.
I got hit with a Coke bottle down in Norfolk. Yeah. I'm standing next to Waller. I'm throwing out a brawl.
Remember the fight?
Bam. Never take your helmet off. No. Feeling a lot of warmth. Coming out here, reliving 40 years ago, the people that we made here. It was, like I said earlier, over the country club. It was a pleasure being here for everybody, but doing it outshines that. Being part of an organization, this team could have went anywhere and played at any level. Grass on the field, that's something new. I mean, it's nice. I'm used to coming out and picking up the glass off the cinders.
Remember the letter DiFilippo read to us from Roselle? Yeah. In the locker room? That there was congratulating on what a fine professional organization they were, and that on any given Sunday there were 7 teams in the NFL the Pottstown Firebirds could have beaten.
Yeah,
From the
I do
commissioner.
remember that.
You know they had that football rating in the newspaper that, and they had us rated higher than 6 of the teams in the NFL that year.
Including the Eagles. Didn't we go to Philadelphia and we were supposed to scrimmage them?
No, they wouldn't.
They would have
No,
any
it was
parts of
no.
We
It,
played them
well,
in
but
basketball.
we went up there.
It was almost a riot. We beat them in basketball.
That was here in town.
Yes.
wasn't it?
Yeah, oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I remember.
And
I
Nate-
came down from
Who was
Reading.
the defensive back? Nate. Anyway, he threatened.
Nate.
Burrows.
No, for the Eagles.
For the Eagles.
No, I was competing with him. I mean,
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
up there
sure.
in camp,
That's
and,
right.
and Nate. Oh gosh.
Well, he told Presley.
Nate Ramsey. No, not Nate.
No,
Ramsey.
Nate.
Man, it's not popping. Hey, senior moment. Senior
Yeah.
moment.
Anyway, he told Presley he's going to pull his gun. He's going to go get his gun. Presley says, "Guess what? They need more one of them." And I'm the sheriff.
I see his face, and I can't.
Nate Ramsey.
No,
it wasn't Nate Ramsey.
I can't think of who it was.
Yeah,
We beat him, and it was
because Ron Medved. They kept Ron Medved, and that's why. Then they took me off. Then I mean, they kept Medved instead. And Bill Bradley was there as a rookie, also.
It's a good move.
He was.
Yeah.
He was there very well.
It worked out real well.
Wherever he
First
went, Fran Tarkington took Tucker with him. Every time he got traded,
Yeah.
he was part of the deal. Yep, he took him with him. Part of the deal.
We all think about Dave, not to cut you short, Greg, but everything was play over the injury. You don't know what injury. If the bone comes through the skin, you're hurt. I'm playing center. I had a cast on this arm. Doesn't matter. You want to play.
Can you hike it? You're
That's
good.
it.
Is it pain or
Or
is it injury? Are you a doctor? Play. Talk about it after the game. Take no prisoners.
He was the best. And then I remember him walking up the sideline and old man Gruber looking to see if he had underwear on. And he never had them.
Never wore socks.
Never had socks or underwear.
Wingtips and no socks.
Gruber gets so mad because he made underwear.
Yeah.
They wear socks up in Hartford.
Remember
when it
before
snowed?
the
At
one
one
Probably
championship
not.
or some game, he came in and gave us underwear right in the locker room.
Yeah.
I told Herbie, I said, I remember that, yeah. I told Herbie, I said, we were going to Roanoke. Well, I fell asleep, didn't make the bus. Not the plane out of Reading,
Right.
the bus. So I get in my little Volkswagen, I shoot down the road. I beat everybody down there. So I'm in there about 4 hours ahead because they stopped for dinner. I walk in, they said, "Who are you?" "I'm Ron Waller." Sat down, I started ordering everybody drinks and everything, dinner, signed Steve Van Buren's name, signed Dave. So, the long story short, I got fined $300. But Dave gave me player of the line $300. So he went like this. Yeah, $300 fine. I said that. But it was just funny that
That was like Waller in the films. That's a nice place, son. That's $10.
Yeah.
And 2 plays later, what are you doing here? That's going to cost you 10.
Dave, you drop the ball, you're dropping money.
That's right.
He had that old Lombardi mentality. You take the dollar, you fold it in half. If you miss a block, you miss this one. I don't need you. Go back where you came from.
I remember Joe Blake, you know, for $10, man, a sack.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got to say before the game for Joe.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean-
could he play?
Oh man.
He was awesome.
Tonight
He
it
was.
rained up in Long Island.
And Tommy Davis.
He must have
Yeah.
made like $100 that night.
Oh,
He must have made $100 up in Long Island when it rained that night. Remember how
Tucker was
before
at
it
that.
You
rained?
prayed for Joe every time a receiver had a step on you.
And a friend of mine from high school, he was playing with us too, and he was a good football player. Well, we're on a kickoff, and he decides he's going to take on Leo. Well, Leo Colcock. Oh. In fact, almost knocked Dale out. And Dale, he talks about this to this day. He said, "Who the hell was that Lewandowski guy?" I said, "That's why the Firebirds, that's why we won." I said, that was just an average. They all hit
Guys
like that,
came to
Dale.
play.
That's right.
That's
They
right.
came to play. And Dale goes, "Oh my God." He said, "I never been hit so hard in my whole life." He said, "I got knocked into Tuesday." He goes.